this session, we learn about the soils of India. When it comes to soils of India, my dear friends, I'll ask you a question first. Soil means what? Very simple answer to that is regolith plus humus. What is regolith? The weathered rock material is regolith. Humus is the organic content. They both combine for thousands of years to form a thin layer of soil. Okay? Having said that, now, what are the factors that control soil formation? What are the factors that control soil formation anywhere in the world, in general, in India? Okay? Now, I generally teach my students this thing, Cleopatra. If you have to easily remember the factors that control the soil formation, you will have to remember this, guys. The climate, okay? The organic content, the parent material, the topography, and the rate of formation. Got that what I'm trying to tell you? The climate, the organic content or the humus, the parent rock that is contributing, the topography. Again, see, look at here. I'll tell you, my dear friends. And the rate of formation, or the time required for soil to get formed. Please know this, my dear friends. Now, what I want to tell you is, the soil in Tamil Nadu is black, not because of the weathering of the basaltic plateau like in the Maharashtra. It is now proven that soil is black in Tamil Nadu because of the climate. Got that? I'm trying to tell you. In fact, different rocks behave differently in different climates, my dear friends. In fact, same rocks also behave differently in different climate. That is the influence of climate on the soil formation, please. More organic content, the soil becomes different. Less organic content, the soil is different. The fertility of the soil, in fact, is a function of the organic content present in it. Perfect? The parent rock. What is the mineralogical composition of the rock that is getting weathered and contributing the regolith part of the soil? The regolith part. The weathered rock material part of the soil. Okay? Now, the topography. You know very well, my dear friends, in the slopes, generally, in the slopes, you will find less fertile soils. Whereas in the valleys and the plains, where the soils get, deposited, you will have the fertile soils. Perfect? So topography is a very important influence. Higher gradient of the slope means lower fertility of the soil. In the regions where the soils get deposited, they have to be more or less fertile. Perfect? Now, rate of formation. The rate at which the soil should get formed. See, if it properly gets formed, then the soil can become very, very fertile soil. But like in the evergreen forests, due to presence of, a lot of bacteria that can decompose the organic content very quickly, you may actually not have fertile soil, my dear friends. Got that? I'm trying to. So, briefly, we have discussed about the factors that contribute to the soil formation. Now we will study about the different soils of India. The different soil groups of India, please. See, this I taught you because the concepts need to be clear, my dear friends. Okay, what are the factors contributing to soil formation should be very, very clear for you. So I've given you just simple examples, but now as we study the soil groups, you will understand them in greater detail or better terms. Perfect. Now, alluvial soils are the most important, alluvial soils are the most important soils or is the most important soil group of India as it accounts for more than 56% of the total soil cover of the country, please. Okay? As the name clearly indicates, these are soils which are deposited clay. Now, what these soils do? One, they have lot of clay content in them, which means what? The finer particles. How are black soils formed in the Maharashtra Plateau region? By the weathering of the basaltic rocks. By the weathering of the basalt rocks in the Maharashtra Plateau, my dear friends. Okay? Now, in the Tamil Nadu, black soils, it is supposed that are not formed by the weathering of the rocks, but because of the climatic conditions. Please know this, okay? It's important for you. So, these soils, the black soils, have finer particles like clay. Therefore, they can retain lot of moisture. Now, why is cotton rigorously cultivated here is, it requires a lot of soil moisture. Cotton. Now, these clay particles within the soil can retain moisture for longer duration, my dear friends. Got that? I'm trying to tell you. And that's why very ideal for cotton cultivation. Also, in the drier season, it develops polygonal cracks or what you call as the sun cracks. And without we having to plow it, it gets self-plowed, guys. Perfect. And that's why it's called the self-plowing soils. Alright. Now, the geographical distribution, as we know, the Maharashtra Plateau and the contiguous regions of Karnataka, Telangana, Madhya Pradesh, and also found in Tamil Nadu, but due to climatic conditions. Got that, I'm trying to tell you. This is the black soils for you. Now, we will go to the red and yellow soils. Red and yellow soils. The color red in the red soils, my dear friends, is attributed to preeminence of iron-rich rocks. It is due to the iron-rich rocks in most parts of the peninsula that you have red color in the soils and yellow as people, have found out is the hydrated form of the red soils, please. What is the importance of red and yellow soils? Most important soils of the peninsula by their proportion. Okay? In terms of proportion, most important soils found in Odisha, Chota Nagpur Plateau, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, and a lot of regions in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, and all these places. Okay? So, an important thing that has been said about the red and yellow soils is, if Indian agriculture is to prosper, is to go to the next level, it is important to apply lot of fertilizers to these red and yellow soils who respond well to the fertilizer, please take it from me, and make them more fertile, which they lack today. Got that what I'm trying to tell you? So we have touched upon even the geographical distribution of the red and yellow soils. A soil that is close to red and yellow but formed due to different reason is the laterite soil, my dear friends. Now what is laterite soils? In the hot and humid climate, okay, see, one important thing about the red and yellow soils is, where all they are found on the mountain slopes, they are less fertile. But when they are found on the valleys or the summits of the plateaus, they are quite fertile. Got that? I'm trying to tell you. Now, coming to the laterite soil, found in the hot and humid climate. In those climates where, in those regions where hot weather conditions exist more or less throughout the year, like the coastal regions of India, being in the tropics and influenced by the oceanic winds or the marine winds, more or less hot conditions exist throughout the year, my dear friends. In such climate, where humidity is high, temperature is high throughout the year, lot of rainfall, there is this soil forming process called leaching or lateralization, where the silica and the organic content in the top layer will get leached away. It is intensely weathered, hot season. The weathered material will get leached away into the lower layers. Okay? And the upper layers will now have preponderance of iron and aluminium compounds. So this soil is also red in color, mainly due to the preeminence of iron, also the aluminium. Okay? And it is generally formed as the end product of weathering. That is why the bricks made up of laterite soils are very, very strong and durable, my dear friends. Got that? Now I'm trying to tell you. The laterite soil is less fertile for all, not all crops can thrive in the laterite soils except for few like the cashew nut, and some variants of laterite support the tea and the coffee cultivation, my dear friends. Got that what I'm trying to tell you? So this is about the laterite soils for you. Going by the geographical distribution, it is the east and the west coastal plains. The east and west coastal plains in different regions has the laterite soils. Also, you will find laterite soils in the summital regions, in the summits of the eastern hills and the western Ghats, please. This is laterite soils for you. Okay? One another soil that you have to know, or probably 2 or 3 other soils, my dear friends, is the forest and mountain soil. High organic content found in the forest, in the densely forested regions of India, both in the peninsula and the Himalayas, with high organic content. Got that, Giselfred? I'm trying to. Now, see, nothing much to be knowing about them, guys. Whenever a soil was important and where the questions would come, only those aspects I'm touching upon. Saline and alkaline soils. There is peaty and marshy soils. Again, soils where the decomposition is not complete. But even more important is the saline and the alkaline soils, guys. Also, there are these desert soils here. The desert soils, know about them, guys. Desert soils. One thing about the desert soil is, yes, they have a thick saline encrustation. If flushed, can be very fertile due to the availability of salts, the bases essential for organic growth. Got that? I'm trying to. That is the only thing I want you to remember from the desert soils, and that is what exactly the Indira Gandhi Canal has done. The Indira Gandhi Canal, which has been introduced into the desert, has flushed this saline incrustation and converted the otherwise dry region into very, very fertile plains, guys. Okay? So peaty and marshy soils, as I told you, my dear friends, are soils where the decomposition is still not complete. So only one soil I'll have to explain to you now, which is the saline and alkaline soils, which I will explain to you in slightly greater detail, guys. Because, see, all that I'm explaining to you in the relative importance to the exam. So how are these saline soils formed? In Punjab, Haryana and surrounding regions, where there is intensive canal irrigation, a lot of canal irrigation, waterlogging happens, which means water gets stagnated in some places. There is aggressive application of chemical fertilizers, in these regions. Okay. Lot of salts from these chemical fertilizers mix up with the water, and when the waterlogging does happen, will settle down or, percolate along with the water into the lower layers. But because these regions are drier regions, especially in the dry season, the evaporation pressure extends to lower layers. The evaporation pressure extends not only to the surface water bodies, but to the groundwater as well. And when the groundwater by capillary action moves up, it will transport the salts also to the upper layers, making the soil saline and alkaline. Got that, guys? All of you have tried. Clear? Groundwater moving up will move the salts also to the upper layer, making the soils saline. Clear till here, my dear friends? Perfect? Okay. So this soil, which is saline, becomes an unculturable waste. These are the major soil groups of India. See, in fact, please do remember what these saline soils are called. They are called Usar. Okay, Usar. They are called Ray, R-E-H, Ray, Kalar, K-A-L-A-R, the saline soils. This finishes off the soil groups for you in India as required for the civil service exam, please. Okay? Having said this, what are the major problems that Indian soils faces? Soil erosion, of different kinds, wind erosion, water erosion, soil salinization and alkalinization. How the saline soils are formed, I explained to you just now. They are the two major problems, my dear friends. Of course, lack of fertility in many soils, which can be overcome with the application, with the proper mix or the judicious mix of different nutrients in the fertilizers, my dear friends. I think this should be adequate for you to tackle any question in the general studies geography on the soils, my dear friends. This completes to you the India physical geography. Thank you.